When BC rolled out its first vaccines, the province made headlines for pushing back its second dose to 35 days, up to 2 weeks longer than the manufacturers recommended. Now it's going much further.
The important thing that we have learned is that these vaccines work, they give a very high level of protection, and that protection lasts for many months.
Dr. Bonnie Henry says the vaccines are so effective after one dose, they will now wait 4 months before giving people their second shot. Henry hinted it's something the National Advisory Committee on Immunization is steering toward. And today the Ontario government says it's in talks with federal officials on potential updated direction on second dose intervals, with the goal of pursuing a similar direction to British Columbia.
It's probably best to just vaccinate as recommended.
But Canada's chief science advisor says it's a risky move.
I think that it's possible to do it, but it amounts right now to a basically population level experiment.
She says particularly since COVID variants are circulating in communities.
So nobody really can say 100% this is going to work.
Dr. Susan Lee is part of a team from the Royal Columbian Hospital that looked into vaccine effectiveness up to 42 days after the first shot. She says it's hard to evaluate what happens 4 months on because that data doesn't really exist yet.
What we do know, though, is that if you vaccinate everyone with their first dose widely, you will be able to save a lot of lives.
Okay, we've got the large size.
And that's what BC says it's trying to do, give more people their first shot as soon as possible, including essential workers.
I mean, obviously we're in a riskier, day-to-day position than a lot of people.
BC is hoping that with its new timeline and additional shipments of the AstraZeneca vaccine, frontline workers can start to be vaccinated next month.
And Briar, so this is a bold move by BC. What are the vaccine manufacturers saying about it?
Well, Adrienne, both companies recommend sticking to the original schedule. And for Pfizer-BioNTech, that's 21 days between doses. For Moderna, 28. But both companies do acknowledge that during the pandemic, health authorities are going to make their own recommendations. Now, BC is basing its decision on data within Canada and from around the world, including from countries like the UK and Israel, about just how effective the vaccine can be after a single shot. In fact, health officials here have called it miraculous, saying that one dose can offer at least 90% protection. Dr. Henry says that protection could last months, which is why the second doses are now being pushed back, all in an effort to vaccinate more much earlier.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Briar.